Hey, what's up everybody? My name's Steve. I'm a principal engineer in big tech, open source enthusiast, and this is Linux by the way. Today I wanted to cover something exciting, which is the 1.0 release of Ghostty, and I'll show you how to install it on Fedora 41 and build it from source. In May of 2023, we had an exciting tweet from Mitchell Hashimoto, who was one of the founders of HashiCorp, who wrote Vagrant and Terraform, and is a world-class coder. It said, "I like to build and use my own tools, but I went a little far on this one. For the past few years, I've been casually on and off building my own terminal emulator. And for the past 18 months, I've been using it as my exclusive terminal full-time, which is neat." This is very exciting because a lot of us have a terminal-oriented workflow. So there's this great article by Dan Liu that has a table here with different terminals and their latency and performance characteristics, which isn't something we normally associate with terminals, but they can vary greatly. And there's lots of good alternatives out there. We have like GNOME Terminal and WesTerm. And for the Mac users, we have iTerm 2. And there's also things like Hyper and the built-in Emacs terminal. To have another option that's sort of like handcrafted with the goal of being great performance and using all the hardware is an awesome option to have. And it works on Linux and Mac OS X. If we check out the About Ghostty section, we can see why he made it and some of the motivations and design features. Ghostty is a terminal emulator that differentiates itself by being fast, feature-rich, and native. While there are many excellent terminal emulators available, they all force you to choose between speed, features, or native UIs. Ghostty provides all three. In all categories, I'm not trying to claim that Ghostty is the best, the fastest, the most feature-rich, or the most native. But when I set out to create Ghostty, I felt all terminals made you choose at least two of these three categories. I wanted to create a terminal that was competitive in all three categories, and I believe Ghostty achieves that goal. Before diving into the details, I also want to note that Ghostty is a passion project started by Mitchell Hashimoto. That's me. That's him, not me. It's something I work on in my free time, and it's a labor of love. Don't forget this when interacting with the project. I do my best to make something great along with the lovely contributors, but it's not a full-time job for any of us. So very cool project, love the motivation, love the design aesthetics, love everything about it, the docs are great. Let's talk for a minute about the tech stack behind Ghostty. It's written in Zig. Why is Zig important? Zig is a general purpose programming language and toolchain for maintaining robust, optimal, and reusable software. So that's really cool because basically what it does is it gives you the speed of C with some of the safety of Rust. Now there's a big argument online about that, and this video is not about any of that, but it's going to be fast and it's going to be generally safe. It also uses libxev for the event loop. It has OpenGL support on Linux, and it has Metal support on Mac OS X, and it has great font rendering on each, so the fonts will look really good. And it uses Swift UI in Mac OS X and GTK on Linux, and there's also a GLFW option for those that need it. Ghostty was just released, so if you want to check it out, go ahead and click download. And what you'll notice is that you have an option for package manager or build from source. The package manager I think only supports Nix, so we're going to do build from source. The documentation for a 1.0 release is really solid, great instructions here, and we're on Fedora 41, so if you're on a different distribution, make sure to update as you need. For Fedora 41, all we're going to do is go to where it says Fedora variants and just click the copy button here, and then paste this in your terminal. And we'll see here that it's going to install the development dependencies, which use Zig, and for the GTK build. And we're going to say yes to this, and it shouldn't take too long to download. And there we go. So the dependencies are installed. After we install the development dependencies, we actually have to download Ghostty. It's not in any of the repositories yet. It's brand new, but you can use this method even when it does get there. So we'll go ahead and copy the URL, and we'll just say git clone and paste that in. There we go. With the Ghostty repo cloned locally, the next thing we're going to do is we're going to change that directory, and we're going to run a Zig build, and then we're going to give it the compiler flag of optimize release fast. And so we'll go ahead and paste that in. And then we'll see that Zig is going to go ahead and compile all these, and it's pretty fast so far. So we'll see how long this takes total, but it's only been a few seconds. And so the build finished up. It only took a couple of minutes on the Framework 13 laptop. If you have a desktop or something, it'll probably be way faster. And so we'll go ahead and run Ghostty. And there we go. So we're in. And as you can see, it does have my ZSH themes working. Some of the things you actually look for in a terminal are how it renders things, because maybe things will be out of alignment or won't work with like monospace fonts or things like that. And so we kind of want to check out the tools and just see how everything looks. And so far this looks perfect, very fast and responsive. just check this out. Yep, so we can go back and forth, back and forth. That all looks good. Cool. Let's check out NeoVim. So we got that. We're in the directory right now, so you can see if we type Ghostty, yeah, we can see all the different files in here. And so that all looks really good. Let's see what else we can do. So let's run PS. That looks normal. Let's go ahead and run HTOP and check that out. Yeah, this is looking good. So everything's rendering as you expect. And I can also adjust the fonts with Control-, so we can make it just incredibly small. But it's still going, and it looks like it should, as far as I can see on my 4K monitor. And then we can make that bigger again. And so, yeah, the performance is really good. It's scaling quickly. And I also found that if you do Control-Shift-I, just like Chrome, you can do an inspector. And so as you can see, it's all in real time. So as I move my mouse around, it's updating in there. And so very developer friendly, modern terminal. The fonts look great. The rendering looks crisp, and it's very fast and fluid. So I definitely recommend this so far. In terms of performance benchmarking, I'm not sure how this will show up on YouTube, but what we can do is we can do man GCC and pipe that to cat and just observe how fast it scrolls. And so that was obviously well under a second, and probably on YouTube it compresses it down and everything. But it scrolled very fast. The text all still looked great, and clearly hardware accelerated. So that looks awesome. Let's check out the theme support. So Ghostty ships with hundreds of built-in themes that can be selected with one line of configuration by using the theme configuration option. And so it looks like if we copy this here and pop on over to Ghostty, we can go up to here and say, open our configuration. And from there, we will open the text editor, and you can see it's at home.config Ghostty. And so we can put this in our Git repos, etc. too, to manage it, which is a really nice convenience. And we'll go ahead and paste this in, and we'll click Control S. And then from here, what we can do is we can just do the Control Shift comma, or do that. And you can see, boom, we have a configuration. We also have a notification on the bottom that says it reloaded the configuration. And now we have a new theme. And so we can see all the themes that are available by running Ghostty help. And then from here, what we can do is we can say + list themes. And you can see that there's a ton of themes. And this is super cool. It actually shows you a preview of them. So if you want to know what your code will look like, what the different color palettes and swatches are, and how it's rendering, it's all right here. So you can see we can just kind of go through all these. And this is probably one of the nicest and most usable theme interfaces I have seen before. Ghostty also has list keybinds. So if we run that, you can see all of the different bindings that come by default, and then you can customize these using the Ghostty config. So we have all these different things, and you'd normally see this in a terminal, but maybe it'd be hard to discover. In this case, it's just straight out to your terminal. You can check them all out, remap them as needed, and that's a really nice feature to have. In the world of open source, things move fast, and so it also means that NeoFetch is now unmaintained. So we're gonna go ahead and run FastFetch, and that should show us the logo. Everything looks good in a line there, and you can see all of the system information for the Framework 13. Looks great on Ghostty with the color palette and the capuchin and all that. So awesome. And there we have it. Ghostty has lived up to the hype and expectations and was well worth the wait. I expect to see this adopted on a lot of different distributions and platforms, and it's MIT licensed, which means that there's no restrictions or weird monetization models. Ghostty is a world-class terminal that has GPU acceleration, is fast, is smooth, has awesome rendering. It has the tabs, the splits, the theme support, ligatures, everything you would want in a terminal. It has the config file support, so we can put that in Git, and it works on Fedora 41 without a hitch. Let me know what you think about Ghostty. Is this your new terminal? Comment below, and I'll catch you in the next one.